Welcome, everyone, to the Golf Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Marc Bosch, also the host of the FLG Golf Podcast. I'm here with Dr. Brett Van Norman, the official chiropractor of the FLG Golf Podcast for listeners out there. And we are on Dr. BVN's beautiful balcony once again. And I am moist with anticipation because we are doing Caddyshack. It's Animal House on a golf course. It's slobs versus snobs.
When you think about any kind of sports movie, Caddyshack has to be up there of one of the best of all time. I mean, how long it's lasted. We were just on the golf course yesterday, and I posed the question to my other mates there, and we struggled to come up with anything that can stand the test of time and still be hilarious.
Absolutely standing the test of time. Do not adjust your settings. If I am flame grilled, bringing a very high level of excitement, Brett is good barbecue. Brett is slow and low, baby. We're going to ham and egg this.
Slow burn.
We need each other, right? And if you're new to the show, here is what we're all about. Now, there are some excellent sports movie podcasts out there, and those podcasts sometimes cover golf movies. However, they do the Holy Trinity. They'll do Caddyshack, Tin Cup, Happy Gilmore, but very little else. But if you're a golf nut like myself and Brett, there is an incredible universe of golf movies and TV programs and YouTube films and documentaries that are out there for golf fans to learn about and enjoy, that I wish my favorite movie podcasts would deep dive into, and also in a uniquely golf specific way that they don't do. But alas, fear not. That is the content that is missing. That is the content that we are making. So I know that I've just mentioned a universe of golf movies. We'll get there. But how on earth could we start a golf movie podcast without doing Caddyshack?
It has to be done.
It's one. It's number one.
Yeah.
Right.
When you asked what it was going to be, I had no hesitation.
There is so much in this golf movie. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the younger generation who maybe started with even Happy Gilmore, this probably wouldn't have been on their radar. They've probably heard stories about it. Or, they'll hear older people talk about how amazing this movie is. And I've done it. I've dismissed, people's opinions of movies from 1979 until I actually saw them. I feel like this is probably one that someone of any age at any time can go back. This absolutely stands a test of time. It's a gem. I've been quoting quotes from this movie for my entire life. And on the rewatch, there are dozens that I should have been quoting. Even more that I haven't even thought about.
Even the young generations probably heard them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just didn't know where it was from.
No.
Absolutely.
So before we begin our discussion, here's the course layout for today. Brett and I are going to talk generally about our personal history with the movie, and that's going to help you frame our individual perspectives on the movie, the lens through which we are watching this film and have experienced this film. Talk generally about the success and the background of the movie. We'll run through in chronological order the entire movie. There is no time limit on this. We're here on the balcony. We've got beers. Fred has something special for us as well. After chronologically running through the film, we've got categories: best golf scene, best non-golf scene, best actors. We got dialogue, golf realism we'll touch on, music, fashion, some of the things we might change about the movie before we give our final ratings on the movie itself. So, Brett.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience with this movie. This came out in 1979. I was unborn. Where were you when this movie came out?
Well, I was born. I was about 4 years old at the time. So I was in Canada, and I'm born in Calgary, so that's where I was. Did I watch it when it first came out? No, I did not. I don't know if the parents would have let me do that, but yeah, it wasn't long after. We got into golf very early in life. So this was a movie that was on as we got into our teen years quite often, even at sleepovers and things like that, where you can go rent videos.
Yeah.
Remember those video stores?
Oh yes.
This, especially on the golf course, we were going through quotes all the time, as a young teen.
So I don't remember the first time I saw this movie. I never had this film on VHS, but I've seen it, I'd say at least 10 times, maybe more. I feel like this is a movie that was on TBS Superstation in North America as like a rerun quite often. You know, they'd cut out the booby scenes and a lot of the swear words, but it was there also. So like I've seen bits and pieces of this movie maybe 30 times, but I was around this movie for a number of years. We would go back to Canada in the summer times. We'd go to Saskatchewan. We'd have a series of VHS tapes there. Animal House was one of them. The Three Amigos was one of them.
Yes.
And maybe a little known movie, Rodney Dangerfield's first movie called Back to School. Actually, no, this is Rodney Dangerfield's first movie, but another solo movie he did. It's called Back to School.
I remember that one.
Which is a gem. Three Amigos is one of my favorite comedies of all time. Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yeah.
And of course, Animal House was the National Lampoon Cruise first feature film. Also directed by Harold Ramis, I think, who directed Caddyshack. So there's a little bit of a nod to that movie here, but the premise is also the same. It's slobs versus snobs. It's taking that film, putting it on the golf course. So knowing and loving Chevy Chase, knowing and loving Animal House, knowing and loving Rodney Dangerfield at that young age, for me, this was the Venn diagram where all of those things intersect. So this really just hits a very sweet spot for me as well. How many times have you seen this movie?
Oh, geez, well over 30, 40, something like that.
Has your opinion on this movie or some parts of the movie evolved over time?
Yes and no. I mean, even watching recently, just some of the course conditions of this supposedly posh.
It's a bit of a dog track, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just awful, actually. Just the greens are just horrible. So some of that where, you know, I didn't really have an opinion way back when. Nowadays, and, you know, watching the golf swings.
Yeah. Oh, the golf swings are, we'll get into the golf realism here. We'll talk about how good these golfers may actually be. Before we dig a little deeper, Brett, there's something here on this table in front of us that I find absolutely tantalizing.
Yes. Let's get into it.
If you have watched episode 3 of the FLG Golf Podcast, where Dr. Brett Van Norman is my guest, Brett is a cigar aficionado.
So what we have here is an El Rey de Mundo Elegantes. They do not make these anymore.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
This is from the 80s.
We've got cold beers. We've got cigars. I think we're ready to talk Caddyshack. Before we go into the scenes, let's do a little bit of, let's talk about the purse, right? Caddyshack, 1980. Had a production budget of around $6 million, and it grossed approximately $40 million in the US box office. So made 6 times its budget. A solid financial success, but it also received kind of mixed critical reviews at the time of its release. But all that to say, it is a cult classic. Golf movies are automatically not going to be for everybody, but this has aged like a fine wine or a fine cigar, and it has pretty much become one of the #1 sports movies of all time.
Agreed.
For good reason.
In comparing, though, that was Empire Strikes Back. That was the year.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't realize that.
It was. In 1980, it was the 17th highest grossing film in the US. The top grossing film was Empire Strikes Back, doing $209 million domestically compared to Caddyshack. Now, critic scores. Rotten Tomatoes, 72%. That is pretty excellent. Audience scores,
I was surprised.
87%. So a difference there. Critics have offered sort of more of this moderate reception, but overall audiences really embrace this film. IMDb, 7.2 out of 100, which is 130,000 ratings. That's pretty damn good. And I've got kind of a mix of reviews from back in the day versus now, kind of indicates a little bit of a difference of how this is aged. Roger Ebert noted that the film never finds a consistent comic note of its own, highlighting a lack of cohesion. Gene Siskel described it as a low-budget look that warmly welcomes the all-important teenage audience, which I guess is true. There's a lot of slapstick here. There's a bit of fart humor.
And boobs.
Twice. Absolutely. Different kind of boobs too, though. Ski tips? That was a very 70s, 80s thing. Now, more contemporary reviews. We have one from 1980. Caddyshack is a pleasantly loose-limbed sort of movie with some comic moments, most of them belonging to Rodney Dangerfield. Brett, is that review a shank, a slice, or a stripe?
Shank.
Shank. There's so much more to this movie.
So much.
Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and actually, I never really realized this, but Ted Knight, who plays Judge Smales, is the comedic superstar in this thing. He ties the entire movie together.
This was his last role.
Was it really?
Yeah, his last movie.
God, he's so vibrant in it. Like, I have to find more. I don't know if he's always been a comedic actor, but he is sensational in this as the main antagonist, the movie villain.
He does it well.
Another review from 1980. In the course of 90 minutes or so of comic conflict, there are some wonderfully inventive sketches, some tacky scenes, and a gratuitous huffing and puffing scene with a nude torso in view. Retrospectively,
sounds like an 80s movie.
It does. Very 80s. Now we get into more modern reviews. These are from the early 2000s. This nearly plotless, angry class comedy is more of a barrage of traded insults and slights than anything else, and it refreshingly recognizes that class has nothing to do with money or lack of it. Slice, stripe, or...
Oh, part of it's on the money. It does touch on that slob versus snob aspect of it, which is good. And opening the door for more golfers instead of just these rich assholes.
Yeah.
But that lack of cohesiveness, is that what it was?
Lack of cohesiveness, yes. A barrage of traded insults and slights more than anything else.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is true.
80s movie.
I mean, it is sketch comedy at its finest. Like, there's a scene there where it's just like the first time we go inside the clubhouse where it's bit after bit after bit after bit, but it is just one rip-roaring laugh basically through the whole thing. A chuckle. Not a lot of like outwardly hilarious moments, but like just so much chuckling ongoing throughout the whole thing. It just delights almost the entire way through. And it doesn't linger too long on anything, really. Like it doesn't wear out its welcome at all. There are some films that kind of do.
That's true.
A lot more modern films kind of do. And the last movie review that I'm going to read here from 1999, Caddyshack marks the first in Harold Ramis's now distinguished directorial career, and you have to give him credit. He knows what's funny. This is one hilarious flick that's a certified classic for golfers and pretty damn funny for almost everyone else. Stripe. Right down the middle.
Yep. That's perfect.
Now, overall, I would say these reviews do highlight the varied critical reaction of Caddyshack, from praise to its comedic moments, but also some genuine criticism of its kind of structure and humor style.
Yeah,
but
it's not perfect.
Yeah. Any other notes before we get into this chronologically that you want to say right off the bat?
Well, for me, the part that I find fascinating, especially delving into it more these days, was just Harold Ramis and the crew that they had back in the day, and the faith that these guys had in these young, no experience.
Yep. Rodney Dangerfield's first movie, Harold Ramis's first movie. Usually that is in Hollywood folklore, that is a recipe for disaster. And they actually had probably a short list of 5 to 10 directors, like as a backup. If they needed to fire Ramis,
I remember that.
They had a list of guys that they were going to go to get this thing finished. And actually, he wasn't really able to control it very well. The production was debaucherous. They refer to it now as Golfpocalypse now. A lot of cocaine-fueled parties.
Yep.
The hurricane parties. This is filmed in sort of South Florida, coastal Florida. And it's not necessarily a miracle that it got made, but certainly a lot of challenges.
And it took a turn from where it was originally supposed to go. It was supposed to be a lot of the caddies in it. So a huge portion of it was cut.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of the caddies were originally the stars, supposedly, in it. But it obviously took a turn in what I consider the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this classic.
But I bet if we revisit this movie now, we'll talk about it a little bit later. I think there is some merit to having a Caddyshack movie that is a lot more focused on the caddy. Maybe not as a feature film, but there's got to be a short, like a Netflix series in there.
Yeah.
That's got some legs. Anyway, this film was modeled after Indian Hill Country Club in Winnetka, Illinois. Not Indian Hills, Indian Hill. That's a private club in Chicago's North Shore where Brian Doyle Murray, who co-wrote this film, who is the older brother of Bill Murray, who you have actually seen in a lot of movies. He plays Lou Loomis, the Caddyshack, the caddy master in this film, who worked as a caddy growing up. And really, these are his real life experiences. So, Brett, are you ready?
I'm ready. Dig in.
All right. So we start with the open. There are the Orion stars, which to me brings back a lot of memories. This is like the opening of the Three Amigos, a bunch of other fantastic Orion movies from that time, a production company that does not exist anymore, sadly, but definitely had its own kind of character.
Yep.
And we open very softly with the sprinklers running on the golf course. This little gopher popping up. And then, bang. This golf ball comes swinging in and hits you. Kenny Loggins, I'm All Right, which is, honestly, looking at this again, that song is a banger. It always has been, it always will be. But I'm watching this and I'm thinking, this is fucking Top Gun. This is the opening scene of Top Gun. That quiet, you know, the lay of the land. And then hitting you with this absolute banger of an 80s hit. You had to think that Tony Scott, 6 years later, thinking about this, basically rehashing that exact same thing. This was the precursor to Top Gun's famous opening intro, ladies and gentlemen, and it gets you going right off.
It's in the face.
I wonder if, you know how Navy enrollment increased, skyrocketed after Top Gun came out. I wonder if caddy summer jobs, golf enrollment, people picking up golf as a result of this movie.
I would imagine it did.
We go to Danny's home. I counted them. There are 12 people living in this home. It's obviously like a kind of an Irish Catholic household. There's crucifixes on the wall. There's a whole bunch of other little kind of nods there. And I never really understood this part, why we needed to be in this home, because you never see it again. But what is it with this family?
Well, I think, as I said before, I think they did have a lot more. It was focused in on this family, actually. And tons of it was cut. But again, this is 80s stuff.
Yeah.
This is like, you know, one bathroom.
Yeah.
These are the homes that we had back in the day.
This is Brian Doyle Murray's family story, basically.
Right.
The Murray family, including Bill Murray, grew up in a house of 12 kids. He said that basically it was like old vaudeville shtick. Everyone had their own sort of thing. There were people on top of each other at all times. And you're right that this part got cut out of the film. Was originally going to be a lot more central to the story, with him going off to religious school or whatever it was. There was a scene at the end where he's, you know, being called to an airplane, and there's a big kind of romantic kiss with his love interest and all that kind of thing. They do weave into this story about him needing to go to college and make something of himself, and kind of that's still in the story, but that's not how they end the movie, basically. I think, you know, rightfully so. Probably could have done without that storyline. It's way better in this way.
Yep.
And Danny, with I'm All Right, there's this 80s classic, this like multi-layered harmony a cappella in the song as he's kind of like cycling through this beautiful country club. Listen to your heart and then he arrives, and we get the first scene right out of the gate. It's Ty and Danny.
Ty Webb, stud.
My favorite line, of course, they're walking down the fairway. He's having issues. Do you take drugs, Danny? Every day. So what's the problem? I don't know. And actually, what I love about this one, this is a single take. This is just over a minute of Ty and Danny walking from the height of this tee box all the way down towards the camera in a single unbroken take, delivering all this dialogue back and forth. It's brilliant.
I can't remember. Is this the scene where he's talking about college?
Yes.
Like,
I gotta go to college. I gotta go to college.
Why do you want to go to college, Danny?
If I don't go to college, you know, I'm going to end up working in a lumberyard the rest of my life.
Yeah.
What's wrong with lumberyards? I own two of them.
I noticed you're not there a lot.
I don't know where they are. And then there's also Be the Ball. Be the ball. They put the blindfold on. He sort of stands him over the shot, and she shanks it. How many times have you said that to yourself or someone else on the golf course?
Yep. Be the ball. Be the ball. That's another quote for sure. Used tons.
I like you, Betty.
That's Denny, sir.
Danny. I'm going to give you a little advice. There's a force in the universe that makes things happen. And all you have to do is get in touch with it. Stop thinking. Let things happen. And be the ball. Hear nothing. Feel nothing.
That was kind of incredible, sir.
You try, Danny. Just relax. Find your center. Picture the shot, Danny. Picture it. Turn off all the sound. Just let it happen. Be the ball. Be the ball, Danny. You're not being the ball, Danny.
Well, it's kind of difficult with you talking like that.
Okay, I'm not talking. Stop talking. Not talking now. Be the ball.
Where did it end up? In the lumberyard. We'll work on it.
Then we get the gopher. Basically, this is Judge Smale's introduction. He comes in, he sees the gopher driving down the lane in his rolls, and he comes out and he's like, who's the McTavish or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Do you know what gophers can do to a golf course?
They're tunneling in from over yonder construction site.
That's right. That's the intro.
I'll slap an injunction on it. So you do something about this. I'll get my best man on it.
That's Al Cervic's lumberyard, right? Or Al Cervic's construction
Yeah,
site.
construction,
Which I actually never really noticed the tie-in between that construction site and the gopher. Dangerfield's character is the reason that that gopher is on the golf course in the first place. So then we get our first introduction to Bill Murray, who is standing over the ball washer.
His choice in people that he's looking over.
The older ladies?
Fantasies about.
Yeah.
It's questionable.
I don't know. I like a sexy older lady. Mark like a dog for me. Mark like a dog. And we get McTavish or whatever the hell his name is. No more sucking off. I'll suck you off, you fuzzy little foreigner.
It's not my fault. I can't understand anything you say.
Golfers, you.
Golfers, you idiot.
He says
Golfers.
correct me if I'm wrong, but if we call them gophers, wouldn't that be bad for business? We're all get thrown in jail or something.
We can do that. We don't even need a reason.
We go to the Caddyshack next. And this is a very cool intro where, again, it's Bill Murray telling his Gunga Galunga story.
The Dalai Lama
Is it?
is going to stiff me, right? And said, hey, how about a little, a little something for the effort, He says, oh, there's no money. But on your deathbed, you will receive total consciousness.
So
I got that going.
I got that confirmed. Which is nice.
Which is nice. That's another quote.
That's a classic.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
That's a quote I use all the time too.
We're introduced to the Haverkamps, which are, God, how old are they? These two are probably 70 years old. Tony D'Annunzio, the character here, is huffing 2 bags, one for Mr. and Mrs. Haverkamp. I do want to talk about these outfits, but oh golly, I'm hot today. Whiff.
That's a peach, huh?
Woo, woo. She pops it into the lake.
That's a peach, son.
That's my second favorite we in movie history. The first one, obviously, being the we from the, The Sound of Music?
No.
I'm 16 going on 17. You've got Liesel. She comes running back into the house after her romantic little dance with Rolf. As she twirls its eyes, she goes, where are we? With such spirit of a young person finding love for the first time. That is my first favorite we. Mrs. Haverkamp.
Let's just say you'll have to do that movie review on your own.
Very cute moment. So after that, D'Annunzio returns to the Caddyshack where Danny is behind the cage. 50 cents for a Coke? I ain't paying 50 cents for no Coke.
Hey, then you ain't getting no Coke.
So he is unlocked from behind the cage. And now this is also a very 80s thing. an actual fight breaks out. This would never happen nowadays, but really they go into fisticuffs almost right away. Crowd gathers round. D'Annunzio's little brother jumps on his back. They knock over the gumball machine. We get Lou Loomis coming out, grabs him, slams him against the door. What does that sign say? No bare feet.
Yes.
What does that say? No fighting.
What does that mean? No fighting. You owe me one gumball machine.
Because a lot of gumballs too. 25 cents a gumball. That's probably quite a lot for these guys making money in school. Then we get the first interior clubhouse scene. And I was saying like bit after bit after bit. This is where the sketch comedy comes in. You got the three guys in the togas, right? The towel togas. I thought that was a nod to Animal House right off the beginning. Dr. Beeper on the phone. What a hilarious name, Dr. Beeper.
Yeah.
Stick a tube in her nose and I'll be there in 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And then Judge Smales enters, looks at these two guys at the card tables. Don't you have homes?
Yeah.
What delivery.
And then someone's in a spot.
So yeah, there's a brown Audi parked in my parking space. I want to tow it immediately. The guy gets off the massage table and runs off. We meet Spalding for the first time. Spalding, you're playing golf today.
I don't want to play. I'm playing tennis. You're playing golf, and you'll like it.
What about my asthma? I'll give you asthma. We don't say that enough anymore, right? I'll give you blank as a comeback. It's a beauty. There's a couple of those in this film. Ty and Judge have a little chat here. And this is the second time we see Chevy Chase, right? And his play off of Judge Smales is brilliant here. How'd you shoot today, Ty?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really keep score.
Well, how do you measure yourself against other golfers?
By height.
Yeah.
I'm no slouch. Don't sell yourself short, Judge.
You're a tremendous slouch.
You're a tremendous slouch.
Yeah. He tells the joke to
the priest comes
bishop.
In. Yeah. We don't know he's the bishop at the time. Fred, did you hear the one about the, what is it? The Jew, the Catholic, and the colored boy?
Colored boy? So,
this son of a bit. And he's working on shining his shoes and he just shreds them, puts them afire. After this, we get the entrance of the one, the only Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, kid, park my car, get my bags, and put on some weight, will you? Hey, kid, I'm Al Chervick. I'm playing with Drew Scott today. This is my guest, Mr. Wang. No offense.
how old is he in this?
I have no idea, actually. He's probably in like his early to mid 40s.
40s.
I don't know. He looks 60, but that's what the 80s were.
Yeah. He looks weathered as fuck.
58 years old. Rodney Dangerfield was 58.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, it does. Sorry, Rodney. But the entrance of Al Chervick is an all-timer. He rolls up in the rolls, shouting instructions to just the first person he sees. I don't even know if these people are employees of the golf course. Hey, Wang, it's a parking lot. Probably pronounced Wang, not Wang. Wang, not Wong, not Wang. Wang.
Wow.
Wang. That guy who played him was like a anthropology professor. Doesn't have any other film credits in his life, but he has this one single film credit, which is very cool.
He does it well.
Seated here, which I didn't notice before, that's Lacey Underall, but she's in there manonizing. How much money does Rodney Dangerfield spend in the pro shop the moment he walks in? Bag of ladies' tees.
1980.
Yeah, there's a bag of naked ladies' tees, which is surprising that Bushwood would have.
A dozen of those. Yeah.
Oh, I can maybe have a half of those Vulcan D10s and set my friend up here with the whole schmear. You know, clubs, bags, shoes, gloves, shirt, pants. Hey, orange balls. I'll have a box of those. Give me a box of those naked lady tees and give me 2 of those. Give me 6 of those.
And I want you to set my friend Wang up with the whole schmear, which is like he comes out, he's wearing a full suit there, but he comes out in a full golf wardrobe. That's got to be several $100s at least.
Yeah.
80s money,
500,
which would be
600.
less than 1,000 probably. Whether you get golf clubs or not, totally different story. Oh, look at this. This is the worst hat I ever saw.
That way. You get a free bowl of soup with that?
Oh, but it looks good on you though. And Smales places it on the mannequin and storms out. Awesome. That's actually a really nice hat. I can't say the same thing about the sweater, but that hat actually goes really nice with what Smales is wearing there.
Yeah. I guess back then.
We go to the Caddyshack, and in the middle there, that's Brian Doyle Murray. That's Bill Murray's older brother, the co-writer of this film, with Doug Kenny of National Lampoon, who would die, sadly, I think, shortly after this movie was made. He kind of fell off a cliff in Hawaii. Troubled guy. Some consider it a suicide, some don't.
Shit.
But yeah. Then we get the caddies basically choosing who they're gonna play with. Danny shouts out he wants
Smales.
He wants Smales. Why does he want Smales?
There was a scholarship up for grabs because one of the kids died. You hated him, Lou. Shut up. Oh, he was a good kid and a good cat. You hated him, Lou. He was a brown noser. Shut up. Anyway.
So the caddy scholarship is open now. Yeah. That's the plot point here for Danny. So he wants to butter up to Judge Smales because really the only way he's getting to college now he thinks is the caddy scholarship. We have this giant Al Cervic golf bag. Did you know that these golf bags are available for sale online?
I did.
Or replica golf bags?
Makes sense, though.
The color, the patterns, everything. And you can even get them customized with your own name, which I actually Googled pretty extensively several years ago. I seriously thought about getting one, but I just settled for a Bushwood Country Club hat, which you can get on Amazon.
Okay. So?
We get the introduction of Miss Lacey Underall.
Braless.
Yeah?
Braless.
And what an intro.
And how it, yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of nippolitis happening there.
Notice when you're a 13-year-old, 14-year-old,
absolutely
hormones raging kid.
Smales introduces her to the two main side characters who are really awesome in their own right. There's Dr. Beeper and Bishop.
Fred.
She's in town from Manhattan or from New York. She's up for the
very old Manhattan.
Lacey. Bishop Pickering, Dr. Beeper, this is my niece, Lacey Underall. Lacey's mother has sent her to us for the summer.
Must be a nice change from dreary old Manhattan.
Yes, I was getting really tired of having fun all the time.
Ah.
Double turns.
Spaulding.
Dr. Beeper's flexing his glove.
I was so tired of having so much fun or something.
They tee off and Cervic comes out. First thing he says is he insults the person on the golf tee. I bet you $100 you sliced it into the wimbling.
It's illegal at Bushwood, sir. And I never was. Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing. What'd you think of his swing?
Which one? The judge?
Good night. Yeah.
That's pretty okay. I mean, none of the swings here are really golfy, except for Chevy Chase's. It's way better than Rodney Dangerfield's.
Oh, yeah.
Cervic, time for his driver. You want your driver? No, he's not my type. Another one-liner. And he'll take the remote control out and they'll fire the driver up and out of the bag. Beauty feature.
Yep.
But also, for as good as Al Cervic is theoretically on the golf course, he knows fuck all because he drives right into Judge Smales, hits him in the nuts, outdrives him though, which is why I say for as good as a golfer he is, he outdrove Judge Smales right in the middle of the fairway.
And that was right when, why don't you improve your lie, sir? Yes,
he's cheating.
Winter rules. Winter rules. I use that a lot. I mean, not a lot.
Not a lot. Enough. I'm using enough. Not against me, I'm sure.
It's hard to do winter rules here in Singapore.
It is. What do we have? We have the mud balls. Plenty of mud balls here in Asia.
Yeah.
Lots of moist ground. Lift, clean in place.
Reverse rolls, too.
What's a reverse?
Well, literally, it hits the ground and bounces back. It's just dense.
So Al Cervic gets into the fairway. They're waiting on the group in front of them. And D'Annunzio's like, what the hell do you have in this thing? This bag weighs a ton.
And then we get the...
he cranks up the stereo. What's the song?
Journey.
Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. And the dancing. Al Cervic's dancing. Absolute nonsense. But they're all doing it.
Did you see Wang, too?
Yeah.
He was awesome.
This is like the Carlton before there was the Carlton. Music is a violation of our personal privacy.
Yeah.
He's breaking the law.
I have a lot of interest in personal statutes or.
Really? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So he's buttering up to Judge Smales here.
He's trying to get in.
Oh, but it
And
looks like my
everyone else.
folks won't have enough money to send me to college.
Yeah. The world needs ditch diggers too.
Lacey Underall is right there, right there to just pick up the pieces.
Nice try.
Rodney Dangerfield again goes back to the caddies. Hey, I guess for Italians, this is skilled labor. What is this, a family business? Actually, I'm a rich millionaire. My doctor told me to get out and carry golf bags a couple times a week, which is actually a really great comeback.
Yeah.
And another thing about I'm a rich millionaire. Don't often hear that, as opposed to a poor millionaire. There are actually poor millionaires now. We see them a lot. No liquidity. During the golf scene, we get a little segue over here to Carl Spackler, who is making his first attempt at drowning out the gopher.
Yep.
It doesn't go that well.
It does not.
He tries to grab it, almost got him, but
Gets
really just
bitten.
results in fountains everywhere. Yeah. The other reason that cervix bag is so damn heavy, he's got a freaking beer tap in it.
Yes.
How awesome is that?
That's the way to do it.
And the putter.
And
the putter is
Albert
total
Einstein
nonsense.
Putter. Oh,
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
I love, though, that the yes, no on the, it also has nothing to do with the alignment of the putter. It's just whether the putter is over the ball, really.
But when you don't know anything about golf, it seems incredible, especially in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
He tries buttering up to the bishop next.
I've often thought about entering the Kustin. Oh, you should drop by the drop-in center.
Are you Catholic?
Are you Catholic?
He doesn't know how to answer.
I'm sorry, you can't tell. That's so Catholic.
We then see another feature of this stunning golf bag is they're sitting around watching a Cowboys and Indians movie, presumably waiting for the group ahead, but they're looking pretty chill. Slow play, apparently not an issue at Bushwood. When the judges group reach the halfway house, we get probably for me is the most enduring line from this entire movie. I want a hamburger.
No, a cheeseburger.
You don't get nothing and like it. I say that to my daughter, who is 7, probably about 30 times a year. I don't do it a lot when my wife is around. I will often also say, you can have this or you can have nothing at all. Which would you prefer?
We use a different version. You get what you get and you don't get upset.
That's right. I've heard that one.
Yeah.
We're introduced to our love interest, Danny's girlfriend. I forget her name at this instance, but they have a little kiss. Maggie. They have a little kiss behind at the picnic thing. If you've ever worked at a golf course, there's a lot of these great relationships. The card girls, the halfway house girls, the bag ladies, the maintenance guys. It's a fun little world. I once worked at a pro shop in Saskatchewan for a couple of summers.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. I've never worked at one, but I did have a crush on a bunch of the card girls.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a sound business strategy.
They might be a 5, but being a cart girl makes them a 7, right? There's automatically a greater level of appeal. Yeah.
Sell the beer, wear a tight shirt, you are getting some chips.
What is your preferred on-course beverage when the cart girl comes around?
It is usually light beer, so you can have a bunch during the day and not worry too much about it. But we would have, for birdies or better, we would have some Fireball.
Yeah.
On the course.
That tips the round into strange new territory often.
Well, depends how good you are. I mean, if
it's usually the people who don't get the birdie who have to the Fireball in our groups.
Oh, really? Okay. It's everybody takes one when somebody gets one. So, but yeah, how many are you going to get? Even yesterday, none of us got a birdie.
They're back on the course, finishing up the round. Dangerfield comes up to Judge Smales, who's putting on 18. He's got this 4-footer. Looks pretty straight.
Yeah.
Also, I don't see a single bunker on this golf course. For an 18th hole, that's not really a great finishing hole.
And the green looks like, at best, fairway. I don't even think it's a nice fairway.
So this golf course that they found in Florida was actually closed, and that's how they were able to film on it for only a $6 million budget here.
Yep. Yep.
And what does he bet him? He bets him $100 or something that he misses it. And he does miss it. The whole course is watching, basically, standing behind 18.
They heard the bet.
Yeah.
Want to see it.
And he chucks his putter into the clubhouse, like the patio, and knocks over this poor lady. And check out what this guy is wearing. The knee-high socks with the tiny short shorts. No idea what's happening there, but Danny sticks up for him, earning points with the judge. Thank you for helping me back there.
Yeah. You're a good caddy, something to be proud of. Gets tipped out.
He puts what the judge put in his hand onto the table, and it's just 2 coins,
25
like $1.50, which definitely not a lot back then. So we learn a lot about Judge Smales' character just in that opening scene. Next, this is really just like a couple moments in Carl Spangler's shack where he's got the rifle. And apparently he's a Vietnam vet. I read in some of the background literature, which sort of makes sense. You got a bit of PTSD there. It's about the right era. And then we get the dinner party scene, or whatever this sort of banquet or ball is. Danny is giving butter over and over.
I have enough butter.
Lacey Underall.
Just let me know if you need some more.
Getting a peek down the front of her dress there, probably. Spaulding has a little moment here. Right at the beginning, he turns to the lady next to him at the table. Are you going to eat your fat? Which gave me a great chuckle because I will often ask people, and did so when I was younger, are you going to eat your skin? I love like chicken skin. Love it. Japanese yakitori bars, they'll even take the chicken skin. They'll put it on a nice skewer. They'll grill it so it's nice and hard and crispy. I just loved chicken skin. But I like to say it in a creepy voice, like a very Hannibal Lecter. Are you going to eat your skin? What I remember of this is just Rodney Dangerfield holding court. He farts openly at the table.
Who stepped on a duck?
This steak still has marks where the jockey was hitting it.
That's right.
And when he gets up and he starts going from table to table, just making fun of people. He said, hey, this must be your wife. Hey, honey, you're all right. You must have been something before electricity. you want to make $14 the hard way? What he says about Spaulding. Now I know why lions eat their young. We get this little line that I've never heard before. When Danny goes back into the kitchen, he sees Maggie, who's working the tables too, and she says she notices that he's been all over with the butter with Lacey Underall.
Yeah.
And she says, she's been plucked more times than the rose of Trilly, which I don't know why women think this, but telling an adolescent man that the woman he desires is kind of a slut is not a turnoff.
No, it might help things.
That's like going into a McLaren dealership and the dealer telling you that it goes 0 to 60 in 2.5 flat and being like, I don't want this car.
That's too fast.
Now, what would probably work is if you go the danger route, the risk, not necessarily the reward, which is you're likely to get itchy scrot if you sleep with this woman.
Yeah.
That probably would have worked.
Yeah.
That's the right angle of attack there
which
for Maggie.
Is relevant for the 80s.
We get Carl outside in the bushes looking for the gopher again. But then we have Ty arriving at the scene. And she gives him these fuck me eyes, which are one of the things that she does in this movie is like this just uber sexy, incredibly sultry, but also sweet. She's got these scenes of like real sweetness. She's not all sex, this girl, but damn, there's a lot of it.
Oh, she's got some depth.
Yeah.
Again, 80s, like blonde. Fucking, do I have a chance with this girl? But Denny does have a chance. And,
a lot of guys have a chance with her.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, except Spaulding.
You don't
Maybe
need
not Spaulding.
To be, this uber rich dude. In fact, she didn't like that guy.
That's right. Yeah, she does everyone from like the richest guy at the club to the caddy.
Yeah.
As long as they're not totally reprehensible like an Al Surbeck or a Spaulding. This look.
I love Beryl.
The flashing of the teeth.
With the slope.
Dangerfield asked the bartender, can you make a pool shot? Can you make a shoe stink?
Yeah, smell it. Oh, very funny.
He says to another lady, the last time I saw a mouth like that, I had a hook in it. The lines in this movie.
Yeah.
And then before we go out to the balcony, he goes over to the band and he says, "Hey, Ringo, play something hot. And you guys," and he throws a handful of cash in the air. "Take some lessons, will ya?" And do you know the tune that they play? It's Boogie Wonderland.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Ooh, 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 ooh. Boogie Wonderland. Love that jam. The music in this movie is killer. So we go out to the patio. It's a beautiful moonlit night. And on the veranda scene. So what brings you to this nape of the woods?
Of the woods. Neck of the nape.
How come you're here?
Yeah.
And what does she say about herself? What does she enjoy?
Skinny skiing.
Yeah. Going to bullfights on acid. I have never heard that before, but it automatically made me want to try it. Not skinny skiing, but going to a bullfight on acid. Yes.
I've got an idea. Or do you want to tie me up with some of your ties?
Tie. Very sexy. Who hasn't done this as a kid? We get Spalding drinking the dregs of everybody's wine or beer or whatever, mixing it. I've done this shamefully. Didn't swallow a cigarette like Spalding did. And then he goes and just yaks in the top of a open top, like a T-Bird convertible or like a classic Corvette Porsche. Yeah, right in the top of the open top convertible.
Dr. Beepers.
And you get the great bit at the end where the guy jumps in and just slides down.
It's a beeper, I think.
The next day.
Oh, geez. Now we get more.
Again, Carl.
Yeah.
With the sexy ladies. Like, I like it. I like it.
I will give it, the skirts are pretty short. It's.
Oh, man in the boat overboard. Oh, you beast. You savage. Come on, bark like a dog for me. Bark like a dog. I will teach you the meaning of the word respect.
McTavish comes over and he's got to replace the holes on some other hole. They only had 6 days of filming with Bill Murray's character. So a lot of his scenes are really brief, really short. A lot of these little segues between scenes. And the next one is, this is the barefoot putting. This is Danny and Chevy on just randomly one of the greens, pissing within feet of his golf bag.
Yeah, love it.
Doesn't make any sense.
Looks like he's lining up a putt or something. Shakes it off.
And then he will proceed to lay, again, no issues with slow play here at Bushwood. He'll just lay down 6 balls and go, forehand, between the legs backwards, pool cue, kicks one, backhand, and they're all going in. They're all going in.
No. You just missed that one.
And then he gets.
Thank you very little.
This is where we get the story of his college roommate. Do you recall this? Who was kicked out of college in his last semester for night putting with the 15-year-old daughter of the college dean.
Putting at night.
Yeah. This one threw me off because I thought Chevy was telling a story about himself, right? Like I thought this was some sort of introspective moment where he's sharing something about his life with Danny about, he actually gives him the same quote from earlier. "Don't become obsessed with your desires, Danny. Zen philosopher Basho once said, a flute with no holes is not a flute, and a donut with no holes
is a Danish."
While sinking 5 straight putts.
Could you use that same line these days? There's no way. Night putting with a 15-year-old?
Yeah.
Like that, and that's again the 80s. They didn't say all this stuff was just part of the comedy.
So that was the whole crux of Animal House as well. Like, and actually the character who plays Maggie is the daughter of Dean Wormer in Animal House. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
She's my least favorite in this movie.
Oh, really? I like her a lot. I mean, her character is not great, but at one point I became very attracted to Irish accents and women with short hair. And I have a feeling that it came from this movie.
Both of them do not. No. Yeah. With different strokes.
That's why this works.
Yep.
So up next, we get the Caddy Tournament. And here are the prizes for the Caddy Tournament. First place, you get a little trophy, and it looks like a medal. And of course, you get a leg up in the scholarship award. Doesn't look bad on your resume, winning the Caddy Tournament.
No.
For second place, Nice pair of tube
You get some
socks.
What the?
Third place,
amazing.
bag of teas. There's Doyle Murray as the starter. Let's talk swings. Let's talk golf swings here.
Yeah.
D'Annunzio, Tony D'Annunzio, Anthony D'Annunzio. First of all, this red on black ensemble with the two gloves is really quite nice. This is pre-Tiger Woods. This was maybe where Catilda got it from to get Tiger to wear this. It's the D'Annunzio look. But how about this? How about this swing and this follow through from a chiropractor's perspective?
Yeah. I mean, he gets his hips through it, which is good. I wonder how many lessons they had to take for this.
I don't think they had a single golfer take a lesson.
No?
For filming this movie? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if they did have a lesson, their swings probably wouldn't look like this.
I mean, if he connected with, he's coming up, I don't know how he connected with the ball. I don't know how many takes it might have done to get an actual proper shot.
How about Danny's swing?
Look at that.
It is heavily arched. He doesn't rotate around his torso as much as just he looks like he's trying to do a back somersault.
Yeah, because I mean, look at that extension. Yeah,
but actually, it is probably the most fluid of all the golf swings in the show. Like it looks great. The tempo is fantastic.
Yep.
But it's just kind of goofy when you look at it in a still.
Absolutely.
But that was also a very 70s, 80s.
Yeah, and when you watch this swing, I still remember it. This is also very robotic, just like no fluidity to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no wonder that Danny won the caddy competition.
It shouldn't have been even close. It came down to one putt, right?
Yes, this like 8-footer or something. And look at the shoes. The shoes are not even golf shoes. They're loafers. And it's in this shot, you can actually really see how brutal the greens are on the course. How are they trying to distract him?
Yeah.
What I love about this, you see the fist pump that Danny Noonan gives it. It's this low, like down here, like bowling ball basically thing. It's not the fist pumps we know and love today from Tiger Woods and the like.
He was feeling it.
Yeah. But yeah, he nails it. He wins the caddy competition. He gets this great.
Top notch.
Judge Smales puts his arm around the shoulder. What does he say?
Are you busy?
Are you doing anything later on? Why no, sir?
Why don't you come mow my lawn?
And then afterwards, come on down to the yacht club.
Yeah.
I'm having a get together. Redeemed there, but awesome letdown. So I've heard a lot of code words for sex, but
yeah, this is unique.
Why don't you come on in and help me sort my holy cards first? That one was brand new.
Irish line ever.
So we get the Rose of Tralee, and we get the sort my holy cards, which means fuck me, and then we get a very nice sort of daytime love scene. This was nice. I mean, I know she's not your favorite character, but I like the white panties. Trying to see in.
This is Animal House.
Yeah, that's right. That's an Animal House. That's John Belushi up in the window. And then, of course, probably the most memorable scene of this entire movie is the caddy swimming pool scene.
See, this is the scene I could do without.
Really?
Oh,
tell me why.
In fact, whenever I see it, I just fast forward through it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The only part that's good is at the, well, I guess we'll get to it.
Because the water ballet is actually impromptu, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't plan on doing that. They just had the pool. They had time in the pool. They decided, oh, let's do something. Let's sort of fart around. And a couple guys almost drowned because when they're upside down, you can't hear cut. And they just had them doing it over and over again. But it's a little bit harsh that, you know, the caddies are welcome only from 1 o'clock to 1:15. You get 15 minutes in the pool, which is, it's not a lot of time to, so they must have been practicing this water ballet scene for months in order to bang it out in those 15 minutes that they get in the pool. But yeah, what an entry. You got the lifeguard in the tower yelling at the people, get the towel in the face, hijinks with the snorkels. Well, maybe this is saying too much, but who hasn't tried to pull off someone else's bathing suit while underwater and get them caught out in there? But Good thing he's wearing a jockstrap, right?
Yeah.
Which is odd. I've never known anyone to wear a jockstrap of any kind unless they actually had something
because
in
it was very fast. I wonder if they were just trying to almost have the illusion of being naked, right? But because you don't really get it. I mean, this is obviously freeze frame, but it's quick.
That's a good point. That's a good point. The purpose of
And
the
it's
jockstrap is to
sort of
imply
nude.
nudity there.
Yeah, it's sort of a nude color, right?
Yeah. Okay. And then what does the lifeguard say? The lifeguard says, hey, stop doing that or whatever.
Right.
And the girl on the diving board, who is a denunzio,
Yeah.
she says, you shave your ass. Great stuff. We get Danny and
So how was it?
Maggie.
How was what? It couldn't have been that good then.
And
All right, stand up.
the entrance. They were going to fight again, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. We get the entrance again of Lacey Underall, who, what an entrance this is. Wearing heels, sucking in the gut. I think this is the first time I ever saw men like suck in their gut at the pool. And this is then, therefore, what I did at the pool quite often, even though I was a fairly skinny boy. But she goes right to the diving board, wearing the heels, right up the diving board, knowing that everyone's watching. And they cut. This is obviously not the actor. They cut to a stunt person or a diver.
I remember reading that. Anyway, she's like legally blind.
Really?
And so she had to like
Get up on the diving board?
Take out her contacts. It's like there's no way she could do that. There's your scene.
The water ballet scene, a classic. So is this the only part of the pool scene that you do like?
It's good, yeah. Funny.
It's the Waltz of the Flowers, Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky's
Right.
during this water ballet scene. Beautiful choice. This is probably one of the things that most people remember from Caddyshack, to be honest, is that there's this goofy scene that they were never going to do and was never planned, but they threw it in there anyway, and it's legendary. They tip the lifeguard over, and then we get the Baby Ruth. Baby Ruth in the pool, the Jaws music. Dude, boobies again.
I did not know that this existed. Holy shit. This is new right
Total
now?
upfront boobie. This is the boobie that I remember.
Wow.
It was the one later on from Lacey that I had forgotten about. But yes.
Well, that's the only one I remember. You said two, and I was like trying to figure out where that second one was. That's incredible.
They are incredible.
Never.
Look at the shape, though, too.
Yeah.
Those are completely unsupported under normal circumstances. There you get the ski tips.
It helps. It's very 80s.
Mrs. Smales. Oh, Lacey, my darling, get out of the pool. Get out of the pool right now. I love this ascot thing that she's wearing.
Yeah.
It's really a great outfit. Duty.
And then Spalding.
Spalding rolls up in his snorkel. But that gives us the legendary. See, if you don't have the pool scene, you don't get this, right?
I know.
You don't get Bill Murray.
This was the part I was talking about earlier, the part that was friggin' hilarious.
This redeems the whole thing for you. Yeah. I love the Titleist umbrella. That's what I remember standing out here. There's no big deal. Oh, she fades. Lovely. Don't go anywhere just yet. Our review of Caddyshack is not over. We had to break it up into multiple pieces. To watch the next one, click right here. To watch a playlist of all of them back to back to back to back, click right here. And don't forget, listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Like and subscribe here on YouTube for more. I hope you're enjoying this video as much as we enjoyed making it.